This is the Washington Times front page for Wednesday, January 26, 2022. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. The Biden administration is talking with energy companies and major gas-producing nations to ramp up supply in case a Russian invasion of Ukraine leads to winter fuel shortages in Europe. Jeff Murdoch reports global leaders fear Russia could weaponize its natural gas deliveries to Europe if the West imposes harsh sanctions over a potential attack on Ukraine. Russian companies supply roughly a third of the natural gas used by Europe. A White House official said the United States is exploring contingency options to redirect and increase gas supplies from different parts of the world, but declined to name specific countries and companies with which the U.S. has engaged, citing the sensitivity of the talks. So why does the U.S. care about Ukraine? Why is President Biden willing to risk a multinational conflict to stop Russia from invading? Ben Wolfgang and Guy Taylor report those questions are swirling in Washington as the Biden administration narrows its foreign policy focus to rallying NATO allies to defend a fledgling Ukrainian democracy, threaten Russia with brutal sanctions, and put 8,500 American troops on high alert status for possible rapid deployment to Eastern Europe. Some skeptics of the administration and the Pentagon say it's a textbook wag the dog scenario. They say the president and the foreign policy establishment are seizing on a far-off war to distract American voters from President Biden's difficult first year in office. But others say it's clearly in the U.S. interest to protect a European democracy in the face of expanding military aggression, if only to deter Russian President Vladimir Putin and others who would challenge the democratic order. New York Governor Kathy Hochul's indoor mask rule will remain in effect for a while longer after an appeals judge granted a stay, blocking a lower court's ruling against the mandate. Tom Howell reports the decision by appellate Justice Robert Miller allows her mandate to remain in place temporarily, pending a hearing on Friday. Some county officials and parents urged Hochul to relent after the lower court's ruling, but she vowed to reinstate the rule, citing the threat from the Omicron surge of COVID-19. The volley of decisions will likely cause whiplash. Some Long Island schools started to relax their policies after a state Supreme Court judge in Nassau County struck down the same mandate on Monday. A reminder that you can find all these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. If you don't have access to the Times yet, you can visit WashingtonTimes.com/George for a special subscription offer. House Democrats are privately urging their colleagues to forgo their retirement plans and tough it out in what is expected to be a brutal election year for the party. Lawmakers told Armika Soner that they are pleading with some of the 29 House Democrats who have announced retirement, including several in battleground districts, to not give up their seats without a fight. Missouri Congressman Emanuel Cleaver and California Congressman Luis Correa said they've been trying to persuade Democrats to delay their decisions to bow out in vulnerable swing districts. Democrats are facing historical midterm election trends that favor the party out of power in the White House. Correa blamed the increasingly polarized environment on Capitol Hill for the growing number of retirements. And finally, a new survey finds U.S. college students place a high value on First Amendment principles, but feel increasingly uneasy about free speech on campus. Sean Salai reports 59% of respondents in a recent Knight Ipsos poll said college campuses should let them be exposed to all types of speech, even if they find it offensive or biased. Republicans and white respondents were more likely to agree with that statement than independents, Democrats, black students, and Hispanics, who said they feel unsafe under the First Amendment. The Knight Foundation said recent trends in campus dialogue include increased free speech restrictions related to racial justice protests. It noted that a Knight Ipsos poll of U.S. adults on the same survey questions released on January 6th found the same political and racial divisions among Americans more generally. Find all today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us on your favorite podcast platforms. Just search Washington Times wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.